Hello, everyone. I'm going to make this brief. I have come here today to call out the district attorney who is my opponent in the judge race for Court of Common Pleas in Lycoming County. He has used his office to target my law office for political gain. And I know this because the affidavit of probable cause that was used for the search warrant was not properly done. The search warrant was served on my office while we had clients in the office. They took all my files, including our files for North Penn Legal Services that we need for pro bono work for North Penn, including files that were old and not even relevant to the investigation, my business checks, my payroll checks, every piece of paper in my office. And those boxes, 61 boxes, stayed at PSP in Montoursville for 2 weeks and were never opened. The evidence tape was never broken on the boxes. They were never investigated. And the AG's office directed PSP to return those boxes to me. At the time that we were notified that my files would be returned to us, I was told that I could not have the press there or they would not drop the boxes off. I know that this investigation is as a direct result of my announcing for judge. The DA's statement that he didn't know I was running for judge is disingenuous at best. It's common knowledge. It was common knowledge among the judges and lawyers in Lycoming County that I was going to run for judge, and he knew this. The AG's office was involved in the search warrant, so his statement that he only notified AG's office after he knew I was running for judge is also disingenuous. I would like to point out for the people that this DA has used his office and abused citizens for a long time. For example, a rape was not charged by this office, and in civil court, the defendant made admissions and there was a settlement outside in civil court. This rape was charged on a private criminal complaint, similar to my private criminal complaint. And you should know that private criminal complaints are filed when the police officer, generally speaking, a police officer will not charge the crime, so they have to go to private criminal complaint. This was an utter witch hunt against my office. It was an attempt to quell and stop me from running, and I suspect stop other people from running. This DA has used his office for political purpose, and I am calling him out on it. And that's these. I also want to point out that they didn't even do proper investigation because they named my daughter Sean, who is a lawyer in my office. She doesn't even own the business. That could have been easily figured out on the Pennsylvania Department of State website. I am the only owner of the business. And so it was obvious that they did this in a haphazard, quick way just to target my office, just to stop me from running. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Nothing? No questions. I have my nominating petitions here if anybody wants to sign. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to. I'm sorry.
Can you explain a little bit more about the case that he didn't charge? Is there a reason why the rape case? Is there a reason why?
That's public record. There is a transcript, and the DA actually made argument on the record as to why he didn't charge, and he sounds just like a defense attorney.
What case was it?
I can't tell you the name of the case, but it's public record. You can call my attorney, Mr. Hoffa. I was not. Came as a complete surprise to me. We actually had clients in the office when the officers showed up, and I will note also there were like 25 officers in my little office, 6 police cars. The press was notified before the search warrant was issued and served. I'd like to know who told the press that, who gave the press a copy of the affidavit of probable cause. I think we all know the answer to that. It was clearly an attempt to discredit me for the judge race.
What significance does that the tape was never broken for evidence tape? What significance does that have?
When evidence is taken from a crime scene, it's packaged up. I'm so sure you've seen that on television, either in a plastic bag or in a box, and it's taped up and secured to keep the chain of custody in order. In other words, by the time it gets to court, sometimes it's seen a lot of people. So there's a tab on it to write down who opened it, why they opened it, what was done with the stuff, and that evidence tape has to actually be broken and resealed. In this case, I got the boxes back and the evidence tape wasn't even broken, and there was no notation on the box that anyone had even looked at it. That's right. There was no investigation. Correct. And if there's any other questions, otherwise... Well, I'm going to try and run for office while vetting. I have a disciplinary board that the DA encouraged people to report us to the disciplinary board. In fact, after the AG's office dropped the case, he had his detectives calling my clients, telling them to report me to the disciplinary board. What? And so I think that he has used his office. I think he's abused his office, absolutely. And I'm not doing this for me because I want to be judge. He has abused his office in other ways. Targeting African American defendants and giving light sentences to white defendants, not charging crimes and charging crimes based on political expediency instead of what is just. And I ask you, as citizens of the county, what kind of person do you want as judge? Judges are supposed to be above any improprieties. They're supposed to be fair and treat the people equally. And I think this DA has given evidence that he can't do that. Yes, they took my client list. They paid particular attention to the client list. I don't know if they made a copy. Did we get a client list back? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got our client list back, but I can't tell you if they made a copy, and I can't tell you who I know 3 people that they've called. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, everyone, and I want to shake everybody's hand who's here.